Good morning. There's something I want to talk about, but I'm going to wait for us to get into the run first. This is going to be the first silent in a long, long time. Wow, okay, this is a really interesting set of choices to talk about what I want to talk about. I want to talk about Neow's choices for a second, just like in general. Because it's something that I've gone on the overgrowth again. It's something I've gone back and forth on quite a lot in the last couple of days when working on the script for some thoughts on Slay the Spire 2, which I'm still working on ever so slightly. And, well, ever so slightly, it's like the main project that I'm working on, besides, everything else I do in my life. And I had this section originally. Like, I was recording audio like a couple days ago, and I was fairly happy with it at the time, but as I was recording it, I was very upset or unsatisfied with what I was saying. And I had this argument, or kind of an argument. I had this sort of set of observations that I was trying to find an argument sort of for. Like I was trying to fit an argument for a set of observations, which is how most arguments come, of course. But the argument went something like this, or the observation, sorry, where like I notice that I always take, or that I'm keen to take the options that instantly give you like cards, essentially, like either card options or money so that you can buy cards at shops or whatever it is. Because I found, or the thought process I had was that I kind of want definition to be shaped into my run as early as possible. What do I mean by definition being shaped into the run? I mean something that, like, I don't know, lets you start thinking about card selections interestingly, where if you don't take something that shapes definition to your run when you go to Neow, like you just take like plus HP or whatever, what that kind of means is when you get to the card reward that's here, you say, okay, well, I'm just going to take the best card, like the attack card or the, busted defense card or whatever card is the best card, right? Typically it's front-loaded damage because, base level Slay the Spire play, you want to fight elites in order to do well, so you take the front-loaded damage to help you do elites better. That's just like basic Slay the Spire logic. And so it's hard to make this choice interesting. When you get to the choice that's like here or here, then you're like, cool, I've already picked up something here that's going to influence the things I'm going to do here, absent what a normal run would have. So if I've picked up, the example I give in the video is like, let's say I picked up Blight Strike over here. When I get to these choices, now I've got something interesting. I'm playing Necrobinder in this example, where I've already taken like a really good front-loaded damage piece. If Defy is offered, like I'm pathing this way, if Defy is offered here, I might take it even if another Blight Strike is offered, because maybe my theory is that I want to spread out my damage ranges and I don't actually need two Blight Strikes. Or I'm offered like Scourge. I might not need Scourge if I can pick up Defy. That way I'm, especially if we're in the underdogs and we're fighting the Coral guy, it's good to have, you don't want to go all in on one resource. Now it's a bit awkward because that's Doom, but that was the example I was thinking of. A better example might be on like the Ironclad. If you pick up Twin Strike here, you might be more willing to pick up Flame Barrier, even though you wouldn't pick up Flame Barrier first, maybe, because you might want Strike first, or you might not pick Shrug It Up first if Twin Strike is presented. I don't know. There's many abstractions you can take. The logic here being that this choice is interesting because you could see two things, and now you're picking something different because of what you've done in this slot. And my argument was that I try and take definition shaping relics at the start, so just anything that adds a card or could influence your future card choices. That's what's being shaped. That's what the finding is doing to the thing. Here to try and speed run that process, right? I don't like getting max HP here because it makes this choice more boring when I can get something interesting in this choice because I'm choosing something a little bit stranger than a regular card reward. I'm getting a rare card. I'm getting a transform. I'm getting a rare card. And so that might impact... that'll be interesting on its own just because it's different to a regular card reward. And then you go here and you also get something interesting going on because it's based on stuff you've already shaped. That was the argument I was making, or that was part of what I was observing. And so what I ended up taking from that is a couple of things. One was like, what does this mean about Neow's design? Should Neow then always offer definition shaping? If that's what's fun about Neow, if I'm making the claim that the most fun thing that Neow provides, or just the thing that's most engaging or enjoyable about Neow, is getting definition shaping early, why even bother giving us a choice to pick max HP? Why bother giving us You know, if I think a random card's more interesting than a random relic, why ever give us the choice of a random relic? Why not just like make all the choices about cards or something? Or at the very least, guarantee that one of them's about cards. Now we have 2 here that are about cards, and one, you know, large capsule's a bit of a weird one in this, you know, abstraction. But, you know, you could get offered like plus 99 gold, plus health, and then your curse one could be, I believe there's like 1 or 2 that don't add definition. Maybe it's Neow's Bones is all I'm thinking of there, but there's also, God, there are things I don't remember. You know, these can also be like upgrade a basic or upgrade 2 basics, stuff like that. And so that was one thing I was talking about. The other thing I was talking about was like, well, maybe the ones that don't add definition are fine, because what's the rush to like make this choice interesting? Why am I so obsessed with making this choice interesting? What's the obsession there? The obsession might be that I am impatient, right? I just want things to be quicker. I just want the game to be fun as quickly as possible. But if I know that I'm going to have fun by the time I get here, and I'm just defining having fun as being able to make an interesting selection that isn't just the starter deck, because the starter deck, you can pretty much, after playing like 10 or 20 games, you sort of know what you want as your very first pick, because you're talking about a very base experience. But like, what's the rush? Like, really, what's the rush? I could just have my fun up here and not worry about that. I'm going to clear the drawings. And that's like one thing to observe. But I was talking about all this and I didn't really get anywhere with it, right? And that's, you know, it's disappointing right now, because I'm just going to end this by saying I didn't really get anywhere with it. Other than, and get anywhere with the argumentation, other than I wanted to play a couple runs with the active goal to not take definition shapers. The issue is that we were presented basically 3 definition shapers here, so unfortunately I can't actually like do that fantasy. But if I'm like, I've been thinking, if I get offered max HP, or I get offered upgrade a basic, which is like, you know, that does shape a little bit of definition, right? There's sort of like a cheat I'm doing here, where I'm saying there's no new stimulus by taking max HP, or there's no new stimulus by having access to the map, or there's no new stimulus by how much damage you take in that first fight. I'm sort of just like, you know, that's technically wrong. All of these things are stimulating in a very small sense, but obviously adding a new card is much more stimulating, just like 10 times more able to let you see the run's, I don't know, definition a little bit more and see where that takes you. A lot of rambling. I don't know where I'm going to end up with that section of the video, or if I need to even cut it entirely, because I've been trying to rewrite it, and a lot of it's just like, the current conclusion I have is I've got to try stuff. And if the current conclusion is I've got to try stuff, then I may as well record 3 or 4 more Sleep the Spires to try things. But this is unfortunately a poor example, because all 3 of these are definition shaping. I'm kind of curious to take large capsule. I've only taken this like once or twice, and generally speaking, I've been disappointed by random relics. I think random relics are just worse than random cards typically. Maybe not in terms of strength, but certainly in terms of their early game value. But yeah, okay. I'm glad I said that, and when I re-listen to it to try and cut out all like the coughs and whatever, I will see if I think about it differently. But 8 minutes in, we can finally actually just mostly focus on the run. I'm probably still taking... No, let's try it. No, okay. I'm in a tough spot. My current goal, like if we're just talking about Sleep the Spires in general, my current goal is that I want to, sort of as quickly as possible, or as effortfully as possible, get to Ascension 10. Once I'm at Ascension 10, my goal is going to be to win with all the characters in a row. So just like do a 5 rotating streak, basically. And then after that, I've sort of got 2 plans. One will be to... I just like try and take interesting things. That's going to be things like large capsule. Try and take interesting things and see what happens. And one is going to be to like, you know, try and win 5 in a row as the Ironclad or something like that. Those are going to be like the achievements I want to go for. Which means currently... But, sorry. This is like where my mind was at before I was thinking about some thoughts on Slay the Spire. Where I'm thinking like, I do really want to quickly... You know, we're talking about testing stuff. I want to quickly see what it's like to not take definition shaping stuff, which means large capsule is almost like the least definition shaping, but it's a little awkward because large capsule absolutely shapes definition depending if the relics are like particularly defining or not. If the relics are, I don't know, regal pillar, if the relics are regal pillar and pantograph, they're not that definition shaping. Like, I guess I go to less rest sites or more, I don't know. But if there's something like unceasing top, then yeah, that's pretty definition shaping. I'm not able to avoid that. So unfortunately, I think I'm just going to try and win and just take a regular thing here. But this is currently where my mind is at. 10 minutes in, let's actually play. I will get a rare card. Master Planner. Master Planner is very strong. I've had one good game with Master Planner, and it was the only time I'd ever taken it. But I think it's a very, very, very strong relic. And I think these elites are things that Master Planner can do good into if we find what we need, but we are going to need to find, like, we're going to need to find 4 or 5 cards to make Master Planner really work. I think at most there's 2-3 elite paths. They both require you to take this. And then they both only offer one shop, and they both have kind of early... Well, this isn't that early, to be honest, to fight an elite. I'm kind of thinking maybe we do this. And the thinking here is that it's an elite late, which will be important for Master Planner stuff. But we're still fighting elites, we're still getting good strength if we need to fight elites. I don't know if fighting elites is... Like, I just take for granted that fighting elites is a good thing to do. I don't know how true it is. My only concern here is that there's a lot of question marks, and they may not give us the strength that we need. While we could take a path on the left here that's 2 elites, 2 rest sites, and a shop, and a lot more fights. That might be what I want, actually. -1 elite, but we fight a lot more fights and a lot less question marks, which I think I prefer. And we hit a second rest site. That could be good for upgrading things. Like, we do want Master Planner upgraded. We do want Neutralize upgraded. We do want Acrobatics if we find it upgraded. So you know what? I'm going to take this path. Here. No, sorry, not this. Up here. Cool. I'm very happy with that. It's been so long since I've played the Silent. But, you know, I still can consume a lot of the discourse. I know that the Silent is insane, you know, incredibly high win rate, which makes me think if I lose, I might be doing something a little wrong. Which is probably the wrong way to think about it. So now that all of these have Sly, right? Because we've played them. If you play a skill, then it gains Sly. It's not if you Sly a skill, then it gains Sly. Like if you discard a skill, sorry, then it gains Sly. Fighting the kin. I don't know if the kin is particularly worrisome. Like, I'm not naturally worried by the kin. If anything, it means we just want, like, a little bit more AoE, if that's at all relevant. Ricochet is funny, where, again, sorry, quickly, because we have Master Planner, it's affecting what we're thinking about here. I think I always take Ricochet if we don't have Master Planner. If we just have the base deck, I think you take Ricochet, or maybe Up My Sleeve, because you just want the aggressive damage options. But because we have some definition already, we don't really want to take attacks when we could take skills, which means I'm much more interested in taking Up My Sleeve or even Blur, because Blur is the kind of card that would, you know, maybe 3 or 4 rooms start being like a very good cornerstone. Well, Up My Sleeve may not be a cornerstone of whatever Master Planner ends up looking like as a deck. Master Planner probably wants to be in like a Corrosive Wave Speedster kind of build, where you're just cycling through things indefinitely and that cycle is valuable. Right, the benefit here is you get the cycle. But I'll take Up My Sleeve. I think Up My Sleeve is very good. We want to play it the first time, and then the second time we get to save 1. I guess these kind of have a little bit of anti-synergy, but not a lot. Maybe Blair was better, but I do want the damage. Another thing that's good about Up My Sleeve, actually, is that it's particularly good against the Giant Head, who we want, like, multiple card spam. into. I'll take it slow. I think you can probably do this fight without taking damage, so I don't feel the need to take damage. Well, never mind, I'm gonna take damage. I believe. There's nothing like, yeah, there's no sly stuff I can do. It is funny to have taken up my sleeve and not have played it yet. Which makes me think maybe that was just wrong and I should have always taken Blur. If Blur was in that spot, I would have taken 4 less damage this fight. Like, I didn't play it at all that fight. Here's Blur. There's Dodge and Roll, but I do like Blur. I'm possibly too much of a Blur fan, but Blur has been one of my favorite cards for a long, long time. Big Blur. Dodge and Roll was probably the better choice there, though. I'll take damage, thanks. You haven't gotten a potion here or here. We started with a 40%. This should have had a 50%. So we have a... Yeah, so we have a 50% chance of getting a potion here. Do we want to play Master Planner? I don't think we want to play Master Planner here. Okay. I think I'm glad I didn't play it. I think the mana wasn't necessary. There's one way to think about it, that it is just like it is just like an elite and boss thing. Yeah, we took a weak potion. That means we have a 40% chance after this one. Like we have 40% chance for this fight. And having a weak potion means we probably need less defense. So I'd love a good attack card. Which might end up meaning Sucker Punch, even though we already have weak in like 2 separate spots. Again, using the logic that we're thinking of this more like a card in our deck. I might just take Slice. Seems a bit strange because it has no cost. But it's okay. We're into the regular encounters now. Do I want to Blur? Is doing Blur stops particularly important? I'm targeting the Slithering Strangler first, I don't know if that's right. I mean, we will Blur, I just won't do it with an extra defend. I'll still strike. Is this 3 every time, at the end of every turn? 18 damage, we only need to block 13 more. Yeah, I'll do it like this. I'm not going to play Master Planner here. We got to consider the 3, but not that it really matters. I'll probably use the weak potion on this guy, which means I should have done it last turn, but that's okay. Maybe it's too much of a waste of a weak potion. I'm okay using it here though. Still gonna target this guy. An extra Constrict. Okay, I'm glad I attacked them last turn. Means I can get the kill here. That was an unnecessary weak potion. I should have just taken the extra damage. Never mind. Okay. So it blocked like 6 damage. 6 damage for a potion is not the best, but it's not the worst. Obviously. It's like, it's probably below average, but I'm not too upset about it. You're all. Okay, we're going into this one with a 30%. So from here we go into that with a 30%. Cure All is good. We have to take... both of these are exactly the card we want. Like, we just need stuff to actually work with Master Planner. I'm probably taking Prepared, unironically. I think Prepared is slightly better than Acrobatics here. That's probably not true. Especially because Acrobatics, now that it's uncommon, we should take it when we see it more. Because we're going to see it less. So I'll take Acrobatics. Go here. Cubex Construct. Do we want to bother with Master Planner here? 70 damage is a lot to do. We're going to cycle through our deck at least once or twice. You probably do want Master Planner, to be honest. So we're probably going to have to go through and block a lot. I'll do up my sleeve while I can. This is one of the... This hasn't been a great silent start, interestingly enough. Like, we've got very good late game potential, but this early game is going to be kind of awkward. Just play the whole hand. I'm not going to bother with a Cure All. This turn I was worried about. Neutralize, which is nice. Okay, well this has Sly on it. That's nice. We're likely to do... Let's say we draw only 2 of these. That's going to be 12 damage. So if we strike twice, we won't have to block next turn. Alternatively, we could actively try and block next turn when they're not doing ×2 and slow the game down even further. I'm actually going to do that. I know playing slow play might be wrong here, but I do think it's going to be better for us. Cool. I guess I knew in 2 draws I was going to win, huh? Because I knew I was going to draw 24 damage. That probably makes it a lot better to go for the line I'm going for, that I went for in the end. We might want Dagger Spray for damage, because we need damage. It's good into the kin, and it's good into this guy, which is the guy I may be most worried about, because extending this fight is pretty bad. I mean, extending all these fights are pretty bad, but we're going to have the extra thing shuffled into our deck. I'll take Dagger Spray. I think taking the damage is going to be worth it. I'm probably going to greed an upgrade, though. Particularly on Master Planner. Maybe Neutralize is better for now. I think I'm more willing to spend 2 mana on Master Planner, especially because we're probably using Cure All on the turn we play Master Planner, while Neutralize will prevent us from taking a lot of damage, I think more so. Okay, we got the head, which means here will either be this or Birdonis. So we want to change path. No, I don't see much reason to. This is good though, because we're always playing Master Planner here, I think. We're always setting that up. Then we may as well play Defend, surely. Because we're more likely to actually sly out the Defend than the Survivor. No, we're just going to play Dagger Spray at the end of this. No. Which means we're going to do Neutralize, Slice, Dagger Spray, I think. I think the damage is more important than setting up the Sly there. I will Acrobatics. I'll discard a Defend. There might be something wrong about how I'm thinking about this, where I'm not playing any of my defends, or any of my skills early on. Where you don't have a good way to do 132 damage. The buff of Ascension 6 is that enemies have more health, but 132 damage is a little bit more than I was expecting to do. I'm still probably playing up my sleeve. It's probably up my sleeve Defend. Although we might do Cure All here. Yeah, this is probably the Cure All turn. It does suck not to get this early, because we did want to... We're probably wanting to play this at least once more this fight. We're definitely playing this turn. I'm just wondering if we're doing 2 defends or we're doing a strike. We're probably doing 2 defends. Because it probably buffs... No, that's not going to be true. I was going to say it's going to buff the same amount of damage, but that's never true. Defend. Cool. 17 damage here. That's funny. If we... Oh, no, that's not funny, actually. That was just wrong. I just did that automatically because it was 0 cost, but that was definitely wrong. Do it like this. I think I missed out on 1 damage there. Just 1 more damage than I should have missed out on. Do I want to blur before I play acrobatics because it'll be shuffled back in? And I think the answer is yes. That might be too greedy though. Nice, we gotta defend. Oh, we might just be dead here. I might have been way too greedy with this. Defend. I should have... Okay, we did get neutralized. We did not get any block though. Okay, we're just dead then, I think. Cool. Okay. So there's two things I want to say there. The first is, some of these choices were almost certainly wrong. Blur was always wrong. I should never have taken Blur over Sucker Punch, I think was an option. Sucker Punch definitely better into the elites. Particularly this elite. I actually don't know if it's as good into the other ones, but it really is good into Birdonis. And I'm just going to be neutral into Frog Parasite. So Blur was wrong. Blur, I just love this card too much, but I shouldn't be taking it this early on. So like lesson 1, don't take Blur. Lesson 2 is that like Master Planner is a really bad starting card, which, just saying, another theory to not taking Definition Shapers, especially if they're rare based, right? This is just an issue with rare cards in general, where like, you know, 3 is rare Definition Shapers. Definition Shapers are just like, they can be really awkward. That's the same with Hellraiser, right? There's actually a very similar situation with what happened with Hellraiser in the previous video, which is kind of good to know. I think the more and more I'm thinking about taking rare and rare cards, the more and more I'm displeasurable with it, which is interesting because my instinct is still to take it. Like, you know, my very physical instinct is to take the Definition Shapers, but I haven't been satisfied with random rare cards. I think they add too much, they ask too much of your future card draws because the way rare cards are sort of designed is that they're powerful, awkward pieces. That's the same with like every other card game, right? Legendaries in games and super rares in games are always like powerful if you can set things up right, but starting with them may not be the best in a drafting game. And then, yeah, I think those are the main lessons, and there's something to be said here about, again, like which relics to take from Neow. Cool, I'm willing to do another. There. It's interesting that the death screen takes you to the main menu and not this page, I realize. Anyway. Okay, so we have 2 definition shapers and sort of a non-definition shaper. I'm defining Fileholster as a definition shaper, but it's sort of like, it sort of plays both sides, where it's a, finally in the underdogs. I've just realized this water here is because we're in the underdogs. I just saw the underdogs so often that I assumed that I had seen the overgrowth, and thus this had to have been water in the overgrowth as well. But I remember having this question, like, does this water mean we're in the underdogs when I forget to see what's at the top? But it does. I just had not gone to the overgrowth for like 15 rounds. We have this guy, and we have the Coral Shambler. So Winged Boots would be the least definition shaping, and it could get us in and out of stuff, so I kind of want to take the Coral Boots. It's the Coral Boots, what? The Winged Boots. However, File Holster is also new, and one thing I've been really enjoying is trying to play with potions a lot more. That's like, you know, that's the other section of the... There's like 4 sections in the video, and potion stuff is something I've been thinking about a lot more as well. So I think I'm going to take File Holster to try and play with that fantasy as well. But if we ever get max HP off it, I'm going to take the max HP. Energy Potion and Blessing of the Forge. Blessing of the Forge is good with Ring of the Snake. Energy Potion can be. Does mean we have to be a little bit more concerned about our paths, yeah? Because we could just, you know, see 4 Elite Path, take 4 Elite Path. And that could be like a fine decision to make. Oh, sorry, in the previous round, we also shouldn't have used the Weak Potion against the Slime. We should have used it against the Giant Head. That's just another kind of obvious misplay. We also didn't go for question marks. We went for fights, which is, you know, on the Ironclad, I do think that's definitely right. On the Silent, it's a little bit less obvious if that's right or not, because we did just take incidental damage once or twice. But then also we used that Cure-All Potion to middling effect. This is one path. This is just if we want to go 4 elites. There's a 3 elite plus shop version here. Plus a shop. We go here, there's 2 elites, 2 rests. Are there no rests on the 4 elite path? Okay, we're not taking the 4 elite path. I don't trust us to do 4 elites without resting. We could just take this path and double rest after 1 elite. And then see how we feel. Don't hate the idea of that. That might be better. And it's gonna be fairly similar to this path if we just like curve left here. Yeah, so I do think we take the right path. The question is, do we want 3 question marks or fights? Last time we took too many fights, so I'm down to try question mark king this time. Oh, what am I missing? I have to proceed. Yeah. Okay. Defend, defend. You're going to give yourself thorns. I don't really want to hit you next turn, so I'll do this. There's a strike in here. Okay, good. This does help me more. I took 1 damage for no reason. I do that way too much. I wonder why that happened actually. Like what I was thinking, because I've definitely played enough of the Silent in Slay the Spire 1 to not do that. I don't think. I mean, I wasn't recording my Slay the Spire 1 gameplay, so maybe I did do that just a lot more than I realized. Luckily it was only 1 damage, I'm not too miffed about it. Follow through. We cannot get this to occur. We cannot get this to occur unless we have some card draw. Pounce is probably better than I give it credit for, especially because you can set it up for the turn afterwards, which is kind of cool. But Dash is also just like really solid. I have a lot of fun with Dash. Pounce is like nearly just as good though, right? Like this is basically also saying gain block. And if it's on Survivor, it's just the same numbers with 2 extra damage and 2 less block. And if you're doing it at the end of a turn, then you're setting up for next turn better. And, you know, if we add Nightmare to our deck or something, we add Bullet Time. That changes a fair bit the logic. But then we're also seeing less block. I mean, we want to see block, especially against the Coral Shambler. Dash Might is going to be better with the Coral Shambler, so I'll take Dash. But I don't know if it's right. I don't know why I'd be expected to know, though. You're going to debuff me and then attack me? With Dash, I think that's right, because we can Dash Strike this guy. As so. Perfect turns. These have been wonderful draws. Cool. Piercing Wail will be nice against this. Like, we already have something good into this fight. And it'll be nice into this. And Piercing Wail is just a great card. Sure, I'll take a Piercing Wail. I'll take a Clumsy and a Random Relic. Clumsy is not too bad. A Random Relic is very good. We also didn't get, so we had 40% into this, which means we left this with 50%. We left this with 60%. Sure. Clumsy for Horn Cleat. Horn Cleat's very nice. That does mean we should focus less on block. Good to have. We're not going to fight a lot of fights before we get to elites. So getting to commons could be good. Especially if the commons are like prepared. With acrobatics no longer being a common, I'm not so certain how good the commons are. But prepared would be good. Yeah, diluting the fact that we have 2 curses would be nice. And we're probably not fighting that many fights. And I don't really want to take the damage. But Chosen Cheese could we can heal here. I think healing here is acceptable. And it'll give us like 2 extra HP. Because we've got potions, I think we actually take the Chosen Cheese. Where we have potions that'll help us deal with the fight as well. So I'll take the cheese. File Holster is sort of letting us take the Chosen Cheese. Okay. I did not know you could get this event here. Like, this is really early to get this event. Okay. I will do what I did last time and open up the list of cards. Not that it matters too much, because I'm very I very much expect to be taking the upgraded uncommon attack. Partly because I think Blessing of the Forge and Entity Potion are basically just as good. That might be wrong though. Blessing of the Forge, because we're the Silent, maybe Blessing of the Forge with our starter relic will show us that that's better. Just gonna quickly check what the uncommon attacks are though, because maybe I think the uncommon attacks are just all terrible for the Silent. Uncommon attack. Backstab, dash, finisher, flechettes, memento mori, pinpoint. Okay. Pounce, precise cut, predator, skewer, strangle. So I don't really think finisher does nothing for us right now. Memento mori kind of does nothing for us right now. Flechettes is decent. Backstab will be fine. Precise cut will be fine. Not great, but fine. Predator will be really good. And then, like, you know, a lot of these cards are just like, you know, I'll take whatever is offered, obviously. But they're not things I'm obsessed with. Looking at the uncommon skills, or the common skills, sorry. We could get Snakebite. Snakebite would be really nice. Deadly Poison wouldn't be bad. I don't mind Backflip. Maybe I'm taking the upgraded skill. Oh, we've got Dash. Snakebite would be really nice. I'd really like an upgraded Snakebite. I'm gonna take the upgraded common skill and keep Blessing of the Forge. Okay, no Snakebite. You probably just take Blade Dance. 1 mana deal 16. Exhaust. Synergizes with things if we eventually get them. Yeah, I'll take Blade Dance. Cool. I'm glad we went through that, because I was certainly a tough choice. Right here? Oh, we're playing 2 of these anyway. Cool. Okay. One clear didn't do anything here for me. Okay. A vulnerable potion, so we're going into this afterwards with a 50% chance. Leg sweep is fine, but we sort of have something very leg sweep adjacent in dash. There's a fire alarm near me. I don't know. I don't know how to think about this stack. I feel like I've got just like okay cards and good defense, which means I should be really indexing on attack. Which I'm probably taking Blade Dance to index on attack even harder. Is the deck feeling good enough to just do 4 elites? No. Don't take that risk. I'm not used to experiencing Ascension 8 yet. Let's make sure we have like a sense of how strong these guys are. Am I Blessing of the Forge? I think I am. Do I need to? These guys are the guys I'm going to be best into with Piercing Wail. And with arguably Blade Dance. And Dash. These guys might be the guys I can avoid using a potion on. Or at the very least, I might use Vulnerable. If there was ever... I think this is the easiest elite for me. Yeah, I'm gonna... These guys give 7 to themselves now. I think they gave 6 before. Maybe that's what tough enemies did. It made it so they have 7. 7's a probably meaningless difference, actually. What is Dash's upgrade? If it's 14 each, I might have to... It's 13. Okay. I don't think I'm going to... Yeah, especially with Hornclear, I don't think I'm going to use a potion here. We'll do it in a future fight. Hopefully my greed does not punish me too much. I'm gonna weaken you, and I'm actually gonna spam the I'm gonna spam the shivs into this guy. Okay. Fine. We'll do... I guess I want to target, like, you next, I think. And I'll do this. Oh! I'm relatively happy with that. We do this. We probably just Piercing Wail. Even if it's not, like, the greatest Piercing Wail. I was hoping to have a dash back. Okay. Perfect. Glad I targeted that guy at just that time with that much damage. We'll survivor. These guys are going to buff their strength soon. And there's only 2 of them, so I think it's okay to sort of slow it down a little bit. That guy's about to have a bunch of strength. How strange. This will put you in dash range. Just the main thing I'm thinking about, but this was a very awkward turn to draw that kind of hand. Yeah, I guess I'll take my 5 damage and wait for dash. Cool. How much do I want to index on defense? Next turn we're going to take a lot of damage. Am I able to kill though? Depends what we draw. I will take the 1 extra damage. Oh, we're not killing, which means we are going to have to block. It's okay. Maybe I should have accepted that I definitely was going to block that turn, and then the next turn's the buff turn, which I don't think I knew. Like, I just didn't recall that information. Okay, more defense through relics, which means we can go for more offense through cards. I don't know what follow through is that, though. Follow through will work with Blade Dance in our hand, which is kind of interesting. But follow through is not a great card. We could take Acrobatics. We're thinking with Soulfish, Acrobatics probably gets a little bit better, so we get to discard the Beckons. I don't feel the need to rest just yet. I do want to upgrade Dash. I think Dash is one of the... maybe it's probably... It might be Neutralize. We have a lot of defense, though. I don't know if we need Neutralize upgraded. I do think I'm going to curve right here, which means we're going to be fighting these 2. Which means I think I want Dash upgraded. What's up? Another defensive relic. Okay. I'll sleep. Got a lot of defense in our relics. And our potions, too. Kind of. I mean, this is just defense because the way I typically imagine this is using it to get defense, but that's not necessary. Right, we have Vambrace. Okay. I think, like, defense Blade Dance Strike is, like, exceedingly acceptable. So we have these potions, we can definitely fight these elites. Blade Dance. Oh, take 2 damage. Alright, we've got Horn Cleat. No need to bother blocking this turn. Dash. Strike the gremlin that has my money. Because we're weakened, I want to make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, this is just going to be the best version of it, I think. Oh. Good fight. We want damage. Infinite Blades will be also scaling. In a way that Poison Stab kind of is, but kind of isn't. We would want extra poison, really, rather than Poison Stab. So to fight the boss, I think we're going to want Infinite Blades. For 4 damage every turn. Okay. I'm not going to go Shopway. I'm going to fight these. I think we can definitely do it. The Coral Shambler. I mean, we should use a potion. We have potions. And the potion that I think is best to use is probably going to be Blessing of the Forge. Although this is not a great hand for Blessing of the Forge. Maybe we just do the Vulnerable Potion. After this is Jawworm. I think I kind of want the Vulnerable Potion against Jawworm more. Am I saying then Fish Oil? Fish Oil sounds right. I don't mind Fish Oil against this guy. Am I playing Blade Dance? I think I am, weirdly enough. And I'm going to play the Shivs. Just because we want to kill in 5 turns, right? That's the ideal rate of killing. Okay, we're going to miss out on that. It's okay. We don't need to kill at that speed. Okay. I'll Acrobatics try and find any defense card. We found Survivor. Great. Survivor, Infinite Blades. Now we have 5 damage every turn. Which means as long as we're blocking consistently, we will be good. Playing those just so they're not breaking me. One sort of bit of advice I've been seeing through like jobs and stuff is the argument of like just block against the elites. You'll kill them if you just block them enough. And this has been a very interesting showing of that theory. Like we can just do this, that's fine. We probably want Acrobatics to get rid of these cards that are currently in our hand, actually. Like in our next draw. Like I don't want these as my draw next turn. I want more interesting cards than that. Block, block, block. And Infinite Blades is just like definitely a way to kill Skulking Colony. Especially with the fish oil that we used. I don't know how much fish oil actually saved us, but didn't feel bad to use. Venerable Tea Set is okay. Haze is poison, but it's not a lot of poison, and I'm not slaying it that often. I don't think I want any of these. I think I'm okay with the way the deck is now. Although I don't really know what the future of this deck looks like. I guess we have 2 Blade Dances and Infinite Blades. We're kind of looking at Shivs. But we've just got so much defense that we're not dying yet. Which makes me feel like I'm going to be good for a little while longer. But I just don't know what to convert that into. Hopefully the rare card will give us some sort of direction. This is an awful hand. Okay. 2 a turn, 5 a turn. Am I ever using the vulnerable potion against these guys? Kinda thinking with Blade Dance we're probably able to do enough damage in the next couple of turns. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother using vulnerable potion. Okay, Blade Dance. Infinite Blades. Vambrace Defense. I just had a Shiv I didn't play for some reason. Acrobatics defend. We're probably killing next time. Got a decent chance of it. Nice. Cool, I wasn't punished for not playing that Shiv. Deadly Poison is kind of boss help. Do we need help against Soulfish? Am I worried about Soulfish? Dagger Throw will also help against Soulfish, and it's a card I like a little bit more in this spot. Terra Eel. This might be Blessing of the Forge. Is it? I feel like I'm just waiting for Blessing of the Forge to be too good. And this is not it. Like, we have Dash. think I'm just gonna Vuln Potion. We're gonna do Blessing of the Forge against the boss if we feel that to be necessary. Cool. One clear. Thank you. One thing I only learnt when looking at the Reddit was that Terra Eel quite literally casts Terror on you by giving you 99 vulnerable. Terror from the first game. And I think that's super cool. Should I have thought about Blessing of the Forge before I just randomly started attacking this guy? Probably. Yeah, with Dash, we're going to be able to block fully next turn anyway. 13 damage. Block in the next turn will be a kill. Cool. And Dex Potion's okay. Meal Ticket's okay. We've got so much defense in our relics, goddamn. Seeing healing is basically defensive costs. Blur would let us move our Horn Cleat and arguably our Vambrace to future turns, which is kind of interesting. But we're probably not setting up like a permanent Blur cycle with the way I've built this deck right now. But I don't want any of these really, which means maybe Blur is just the only card that kind of looks alluring compared to these cards. Well, maybe Memento Mori lets us like start going into discard stuff. We have Acrobatics and Survivor and Dagger Throw. I'll take Memento Mori, but I'm not happy about it. But it is damage, and that's the main thing I wanted. I don't think we need a rest with how much defense we have. Innatefying Infinite Blades just gives us like 3 more blades. Is that going to be better than another upgrade? Especially because we're probably using Blessing of the Forge. I don't need that to be upgraded. I'll upgrade Neutralize. We probably want Neutralize here. Okay, Infinite Blades upgrade does nothing. So it's just, do we want Memento Mori, Defend, Piercing Wail, and Strike upgraded? I don't really think the answer is yes to that. I'm not going to do Blessing of the Forge then. Could do Dex Potion. Don't know how necessary that will be. There's Beacon. Could Blessing of the Forge this. Don't. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother. I don't know if we're gonna need a potion against this guy. Boop. Do this. Still have not used our Vambrace yet. So I think we're gonna use it this turn. Maybe I'm playing Dash. How much do I need to get value out of Vambrace? What are we drawing? Okay, next turn's gonna suck. It's probably worth trying to get value out of Vambrace. Huh. 5 damage. Oh, they're not attacking me this turn. Okay, then I'm not worried at all. Cool. Soulfish might never have a big hit turn. I don't know Soulfish's attacks. I don't know all the attacks in order. I've been thinking about getting Jorbs as like tell you what the attacks are. Maybe I'm just never actually getting that much out of Vambrace, which in that case we just defend here. This guy might be mostly relying on like spamming you with stuff. With turns like this, for example. Rather than big hits. Oh, well, there's a big hit. Okay, no, Soulfish is big hits. Not that this would have been a particularly good turn to Vambrace. This might be, sorry, this might have been Blessing of the Forge Time. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. I'm a little bit worried about how this fight is going to end up. I'm not going to do Dex Pot. Maybe I should. Wow. Okay. So we get to do that. Yeah, that's going to be intangible again. 11 damage. Shall I strike? Beckon. Maybe I do need the defense. The Dex Pot. I'm gonna say no still. I'm gonna say I can greed out without needing it. Hopefully that's not too greedy. Oh, having neutralize is nice. Oh, because this is the big hit, right? Yeah. What? Fuck. Damn, okay. Wow, I'm not good. What did we upgrade again? We like upgraded... We did upgrade, right? Did we exhaust what we upgraded? Neutralize, we upgraded neutralize. That's probably a good thing, because we're not killing here, right? Yeah. No, we're a little bit off. If we had played those dashes early, we would have been fine. If we had played Dex Pot early... We're only saving like 5 block, I think, when I was doing that, so I don't think it actually helped me. I don't think Dex Pot did anything. So I think it's mostly the card choices that I had. Yeah, I guess it's worth saying that like these are temporary damage, right? So they're good into fights, but they're not good into bosses. Like hallways, they get into hallways. Dagger Throw was like my only... Dagger Throw, Infinite Blades, and Memento Mori were my only additions to damage, and Dash, I suppose. But that's not a lot. If we had taken Haze, or maybe even Poison Stab, maybe that would have been better. But I could have also slept. But if any of these relics also helped us deal damage, that probably would have been better for me. Chosen Cheese was unnecessary. Like, obviously, now that we know that we lose the run, Chosen Cheese is obviously not useful. And then we also may have misplayed with potions. We probably did a lot wrong. But we did a lot wrong knowing that we would die here. If we don't know that we die here, then I don't know how much that we're doing a lot wrong with. But I also didn't know... The Soulfish seems to have, like, a lot of, like, different attacks. I thought the Soulfish... I assumed the Soulfish was going to be pretty basic, like most of the bosses end up being. Kind of want to look up the Soulfish's attack patterns. Because they're... Okay, no, the Soulfish has 5 attacks. Right, okay. What happened, though, which is what made me forget about it, is that the second turn is the turn that the Soulfish does the big hit. And so... The second turn is the turn that was Hornclear added, so I forgot about that big hit. Interesting. Damn, the Soulfish has a really interesting set of attacks. I also don't think I ever noticed that it was 2 intangible. I thought it was only 1. Right, okay, no, it's got this note here about, like, because it's doing it on their turn, it just immediately goes to 1 intangible. Because it's basically effectively 1 intangible. Interesting. Well... I've been soulfished. I'm willing to just end this here and set up a new run next time. Very interesting. A lot of interesting things happened in these acts. I'd love to think about them a little bit more. Okay. Well, see you next time.